Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to tell you about me and my husband's first date, because it is Real Life Wednesday, and that means I tell you something personal about me or show you something personal. So don't forget to like and subscribe and comment with whatever you want below. And if you want to hear about our interesting first date, keep on watching. All right, so me and my husband were introduced by someone we mutually knew, but the funny story isn't about how we met. The funny story is our first date. So I was a bit of a novice when it came to dating because, well, I just didn't do it. I just didn't really find anyone that I really wanted to date, or I found attractive enough, or many reasons I just didn't date. So when I decided to go on a first date with him, let me get my thoughts in order because it's interesting. I didn't think it was anything weird about it, but my husband told me all the things that I did wrong on our first date, but he still wanted to see me, which is kind of odd. Get to the restaurant and I start to get to know him. He tells me some stuff about himself, where he works. I guess that's the normal thing. You're supposed to start off with, hey, so what do you do? Oh, okay, I do this. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from here. Oh, very surface stuff. I didn't do that. My thought was, let me tell you everything that's wrong with me and stuff like that. And if you want to keep moving forward, then okay. But if not, I completely understand. And we can end as friends. Like, we can keep going on as friends and not necessarily in a relationship like that. So let's see. Let's start with number one. I cried on our first date. Yeah. Not supposed to do that from what he tells me. I told him my biggest fear that I had never told anyone else. When I say I never told anyone else, never told anyone else. On the first date, mind you, this is my second time seeing him in person. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that. I told him my flaws. I said, if you're this type of person, well, I don't have that, or I'm obviously tall, this is obvious, but if you like short women, I'm not short because I am 5'10". So if that's a problem for you, I completely understand. Mine weren't that obvious, but I just exposed stuff that I didn't know I wasn't supposed to expose on the first date. Because one of my number one rules, which I kind of live by, is be honest. And I'm a big person on honesty. Like, I don't care how bad it is, how horrible it is. We can deal with it if you just tell me the truth from the beginning. And so that's how I went into things. And I told him about my family issues. So if he did not want to be a part of something like that, he could get out. Yeah, I told him quite a bit of stuff, and obviously hindsight, would I redo this? Would I do the same thing over again? Yeah. I'm a big believer in, if you're looking for a relationship and not necessarily a one-night stand or what have you, I completely believe in just being honest from the beginning. And hey, these are some things that I know that may be important to you or may be deal breakers. So I want to let you know about them. And if you don't have a problem with them, then we can move forward. But if you do, I don't want to tell you stuff like, oh, I have kids. and you find that out 6 months later, although I didn't have kids, stuff like that. Mine probably weren't as significant like that, but to me, they were flaws within me that, I wasn't necessarily comfortable sharing it, but I felt like, okay, disclaimer, I thought of dating as dating for marriage. So it wasn't something that, oh, I'm just dating this person and I could be dating another person tomorrow. Or no, if I went on a date with you, then, which I didn't date. So, yeah, I'm going out on a date with you because it's a possibility we could get married. Yeah, I know some of you guys are like, whoa, you're just on the first date. I know. That's how I thought. But telling him all this information, we're at this restaurant and I'm sure he feels uncomfortable. He told me afterwards, yeah, it was uncomfortable and it was weird. You put out so much information. But what he did know was that I wasn't playing games, because this woman is giving me her life story to some extent, or cherry picking the things that she want me to know that she feels are flaws. And so she's not playing any games. And if I'm not ready for a relationship, this is not the woman for me, which I guess is kind of good. Nobody gets their heart broken. Our first date in the restaurant was 2.5 hours. Yeah, we're supposed to be just going out to dinner. But at the end of those 2.5 hours, he said, do you want to go to a movie? I was like, yeah. This is after I cried, told you my issues, told you my family's issues, told you things I had never told anyone else. This was the time for him to run. And he said if he was younger, he probably would have run. Like, I just gave so many red flags, not knowing that I just believe in being honest. And I think it's funny because that's a staple in our relationship. And that's something that our relationship is built on, is complete honesty. Even if it's bad, yeah, you may hurt my feelings and I may even cry, but I'm of the mindset that if it's true, well, it's true. If you call your significant other lazy, and if you know you're lazy, you can get mad about it and your feelings can be hurt, but let me say, your feelings can be hurt, but you can't get mad about it because, yeah, okay, I am a little lazy, and if you want to correct that or not correct that, that's up to you. But I always say you can't get mad at the truth, even if it hurts. It may hurt, but it's the truth. This turned into a relationship advice thing, which wasn't intentional. But yes, so our first date was filled with me doing everything wrong that was supposed to blow up in my face, but it turning into so much more. And it became this amazing relationship. And I ended up meeting not just my best friend, but the love of my life, just an amazing man. And yeah, he's just an amazing man. I feel like our first date was the beginning of the beginning. Normally people say the beginning of the end, but it was the beginning of our beginning, because it kind of set in place how our relationship was going to be. So I had to basically trust him with my information. And so our relationship was kind of built on the foundation of trust, because I just gave out so much information. And what that allowed him to do was be open and give information as well, which was very kind and nice, especially with me crying. And what do you do with a girl you just met who is bawling at the table? He just reached his hand out and touched my hand like, it's okay. But you gotta look around like, okay, she's really crying. I'm sure it was embarrassing. I didn't think anything of it though. After our first date, I thought it was successful. I was like, oh, I like this guy. Yeah, I want to see him again. And I didn't see anything wrong with what I did. Not until later when I figured out how dating is actually supposed to go. So mine was just started out here and then went down like sad. Like, oh my gosh, is this a commercial for all your faults? Or are we first date is supposed to be the best date ever because you don't know anything about this person, and they're supposed to be putting forth what I hear is your representative, which is the one you put forth in interviews for jobs and all that stuff, because first dates are interviews if this person wants to continue on with you. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. I just thought of, okay, I'm going to meet this guy and, you know, hey, we may hit it off. If we don't, we can be friends. Yeah, so I'm all about friends. I'm always wanting to turn some guy into a friend. I'm so happy that he looked beyond my flaws and me not knowing what the heck I was doing and just kept moving forward. So for all you people who think that, you know, your first date has to be perfect and you have to put forth your representative and all that stuff, you really don't. And, you know, maybe it was someone else, or if I was younger, they probably would have ran and was like, this girl, she is on some next level stuff. But he didn't. And so there's no one right way to date. And I'm glad that I was able just to be me, all my issues and all. And he still accepted me and was like, you know, she obviously has no idea what she's doing. But he knew, he could see I was genuine. So that was our first date. And after our first date, I knew I really liked him. And now you fast forward 7 years, and we're married and we're happy, and he's still the same amazing man I met back then. So it was uncomfortable and it was a weird moment, and he said he's never experienced anything like that before. But yeah, just be yourself. And even if you're weird and awkward and, you know, everywhere like me, which I'm starting a thought and I'm already to the next one. I didn't even finish that thought. Yeah, I'm weird, but someone will love that weirdness. And not to change that, especially on the first date, so that the person can see who you actually are. I'm not saying be brutally honest like I was, but you know, that worked for me and it still works for me. You know, my sometimes lack of filter. But yeah, so if you guys like these personal videos, learning stuff about me, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment below and tell me about your first date. I love interesting stories. And if you guys have any other questions or anything, you can always ask me. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.